All right, guys, I am with Michelle METTER, and we are wrapping up SommCon 2025. This is the last interview over a 48-hour process of interviewing close to 20 people, right? We interviewed a lot of amazing people here, but I'm here with Michelle. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good.
How you feeling?
I'm good. Yeah.
So, I mean, let's just get right to it. This is, this is 4:30 on Tuesday, and we just finished another SommCon in the books. Congratulations.
Thanks.
How you feeling? How you feeling about this one?
I energized, buzzed. Yeah. I just pulled the team together. Mm-hmm. And we always do a team photo at the very end.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like if for anybody who has kids, it's like, you know, first day of school, last day of school pictures. You've seen those where the first day of school, everybody, you know, is all buttoned up and shiny and looking all clean with a fresh haircut. And then they come home from school and they've got dirt all over their faces and big bags under their eyes. So we're kind of like that right now. It's like the last day of school. But we just got everybody together. And as we're getting ready to take this picture, Angela McCrae from AAV called, and she was headed out, and she said, "Look, I got to tell you, I've got to tell you, this was." She goes, "This is her second SommCon," and she said that, you know, she's done tons of conferences like this, and she just said the energy, the connections, that there was something really magical here this time around, and there's nothing, you know, this is, you know. People, you know, in the vineyards, they, you know, who are making wine for a living, we make environments for a living. And that there's no better accolade that I can get than that. Yeah. And so it was just kind of like our icing on the cake for a minute there.
I mean, you already know how I feel. I've probably told you every single year, and I continue to tell you that I'm so honored and proud to be in the kind of network of SommCon, going on probably 10 years for me, I think, since 2015, which is crazy.
Since you were working the cellar.
Yeah, that's insane.
I know.
I feel old. But it is energizing for me too. We were just saying this, like, I'm pumped to do this and to have these connections and to talk with so many amazing people. Leading up to this moment is there's a lot of pain involved in the setup with all this equipment. But I mean, just getting to know people and to interact with everybody. And everybody always has fresh ideas, and people are so committed to this industry. It's hopeful. Always, there's just such an incredible thing happening here. And so, as always, I just want to say once again, thank you for being the person who puts all this together and who orchestrates everything. This has been kind of a crazy year for a lot of people. I mean, I work for a wine importer now. For a wine importer, tariffs have been crazy. I'm not the owner. I cannot believe. I have a ton of empathy for the actual owners of the company that I work for. There's two of them. The stress that's involved in that and dealing with the tariffs and everything that's been happening this year. All this talk of that people are consuming differently. The new generation isn't consuming wine. What's going to happen to us? So, what was kind of going through your head leading up to this conference this year?
First of all, like anybody, we were like, whoa, what kind of world are we in right now in terms of, our industry and our space? Not only the conversations around consumption, but like you're saying, all of the headwinds facing us with the tariffs, we were worried at the front of the year and having lots of conversations about, if we were right to move forward with SommCon this year. Because we just didn't know. We didn't know how much the industry would be able to support, and we wanted to be sensitive to really what was happening amongst our peers. And then we really started talking about the fact that in moments of not crisis, but in moments of confusion, in moments where we're facing these difficulties within our industry, this is actually when we need these environments the most. We need to be bringing people together for, let's just talk about the business piece of it, for commerce. The suppliers who are here need access to the buyers. The buyers need the opportunity to come and be educated and have the ability to learn from each other. And so that's like that's the business side of this. But really, when it comes down to it, we sat down and we said, more than anything, what can we do for people right now? Yeah. And it was 100% about connections. If we can help create conversations, dialogue, learning, information, sharing resources. Like, we're one unified industry. It doesn't matter who you work for, if you're competitors. We are one unified industry.
Yeah.
And so we just doubled down and we're like, okay, we know things are shifting and changing. I don't know who's coming on board to support us this year, 'cause that's how we're able to do this stuff. But I was like, we have to roll the dice and we have to go, because I felt like this was not the time to go on hold. This was the time to double down and to really push harder. And we did that. And I think,
how do people react to that?
It's palpable. It's goosebump. It really is. I mean, we're in a new venue, and we're at the Rancho Bernardo Inn, which is just beautiful.
It's a beautiful property.
I do
Everybody's
really think
saying it too.
has set the stage. It has set the stage for the kind of feeling people should have. Because we talk about setting the stage when people walk into our restaurants or into our retail environments. Well, it's no different, for us as the event side of things. This venue has really set the stage for the serenity, the peace, all the little alcoves and opportunities for people to sit down and really have intimate conversations.
Yes.
And you're seeing that.
Yeah.
There's tons of that happening.
Yeah.
And that's what I keep hearing over and over again, that all these authentic connections, authentic conversations, that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
When we looked at building the program this year, we did something kind of crazy. I don't know how crazy, but something really different. And I felt like when you're at these conferences and you're at these events, there's oftentimes not enough opportunity to really just sit. You're getting this a lot because you're doing podcasts, but there's really not enough opportunity to sit across the table from your peers and to talk about what's happening in this industry. And so we launched, we leaded into the week with these roundtables where we had. I
saw that. I was hearing a lot about that.
Raphael, it was great.
Yeah.
We had one roundtable that was for buyers, and Angela McCrae led it. Maurice DiMarino led that one. And then Angela McCrae led the one for suppliers.
Gotcha.
For us. And so we had one for buyers, and then we had one for suppliers. And it was just absolutely amazing. Yeah.
I'm so bummed I missed her. We had her on schedule and we were kind of running a little bit crazy. I'm so glad you guys are doing the round table, because we've talked about it before too. Like that's the beauty of it, right? It's like these hot moments where you guys have always done a certain degree of that round table conversation to kind of present these situations where people can exchange ideas with each other.
A little bit. This was different. This was because we literally locked you in a room for 2 hours. And so on one end, Larissa from Vivino, and then Maurice moderated it. And it was like, okay, here's the topic. Here's something we're going to sit around and discuss. Now let's go.
Yeah.
And at the end of that 2 hours, everyone was like, wait a minute. We need more time. We're not ready. We need more time together. And that's the end goal. The goal in there is to, now they walk away with, I think we had 30 buyers in the room, with 30 buyers who now exchanged contact information and cards, who were walking out. They weren't sold to. This was their moment.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
Now they left, and all through the halls, they're sitting down, they're talking, like they're continuing that conversation that we started.
Yes.
And I loved seeing that. Same thing on the supplier side. So they had the opportunity to pull together and talk about, what does business look like for you today? And then so we went from that into really looking at data. We had Colleen from Data Essentials come out and really talk to us about what are consumers looking for, what are they buying, are they consuming? If they are, what are they consuming? And we're seeing, a lot of the data is shared out there, and we certainly are aware of it. But I think she presented it in such a way that was about the opportunity, not to be afraid, but to say, what are we embracing and how are we innovating around what our consumers actually want? Are we resisting it? Or are we saying, okay, how do we work with it in order to continue to advance our industry?
Yeah.
Just really,
I love that.
really
I love
exciting.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like such I want to Yeah, I want to talk to you about some other stuff about that later because, Dan and I kind of put on a couple events like that and we were trying to instigate something like that. But I loved how you guys, like you said, you kind of just, we're going to sit you around the table, we're going to lock the door, we'll see you in 2 hours and like just really kind of forcing the interactions from peer to peer versus, right? So that's amazing. I guess kind of in that same vein, that also leads me to the next question that there was a ton of great feedback around the mentorship programs. I know that's something that's kind of very important to you. And we've seen so many people kind of take off from these programs that exist. So please, if you would, just tell us a little bit about that and what have been the highlights from the mentorship program for you.
We've done this from the beginning of SommCon. And I'm not going to say who, but I remember a colleague coming up to me kind of really in the beginning, and she was like, look, if you can't be in the room, if you don't have access to the room, you don't get the same opportunity to advance your career, to build your network, to form those connections, to, have the same opportunity to learn and to grow, to have the same access to capital and to resources that get formed here. And so, we went back as a team and we're like, okay, well, how do we make sure that that's not what we're about? That we have a policy and a plan and a real intention in place to be able to make sure that not only do we have a scholarship program, but then it's not just about, okay, let's, host some people here and provide them with some registrations. It's about really making sure that when these professionals come to SommCon, that the door is open to them to build their network. And so our mentees and our mentors get matched together. They spend a lot of time together while they're here. And part of the charge is for people who are more established in this industry to go open those doors. So to understand, what is it you're looking for? What is it you need? What is your hope? Your colleague, that's what I was asking. Well, what do you want to do? What are you looking for? Because once you know that, then it's like, well, let me help you.
Yeah.
Well, let me help you go do that. And that's one of the things that I love about this. And so, my goal always is I want you to walk away with 10 people now that you know here that you can go call, not just go connect with someone on your LinkedIn. That's good too. But really literally go pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, can you help me here? And have the person say, yes, I'm going to stop. I have time for you and I will make time.
Yeah. That's huge. That's huge. And honestly, I mean, kind of being a part of this community too has given me those people. Like, I consider Maurice one of those people for me.
Oh, for
Dan
sure.
is one of those people for me.
Sure.
Jesse is one of those people for me.
Yep.
And so any highlight of the mentorship program that stands out for you? Any individuals or anything that like kind of like, man, like that's Indigo.
Oh yeah. So she was a scholar last year, and she came to us and she said, we just had her in here too before you came in. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
So she came to us last year. She was a scholar. She came to us and she said, I see an opportunity and I want to be your host. I want to go now spend time with the next cohort of scholars. And I want to help show them how to make the most out of these experiences.
Cool.
Can I do that? Can I be, the leading face for you on this? And we were like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is you don't get what you don't ask for.
Right.
So she saw an opportunity and she asked for it. And we're like, absolutely. And a program this year is so much better because of it, because of her fresh eyes and energy and excitement and enthusiasm and ability to touch people here in a way that, we're head down.
Right.
We're racing from one thing to the next. So she's able to care for this community that we brought in, this cohort of scholars that we can't embrace in the same way because we're like ducks.
Yeah. I love her energy. We just had a great conversation actually right before you came in. That's awesome. And I think that, it's easy sometimes when you, like you said, you get so head down on something, you kind of forget what it means to someone who is actually living it and experiencing it for the first time. Mm-hmm. Like she was obviously, I heard her say when she was introducing the awards, like it's one of the best things. I think she said it's the best thing that's happened to me in my career.
Yeah.
And, for like people who have just been in this career for a long time, maybe, you forget about how special some moments are and what it really means to that person. And I'm not saying for everybody, but it's important to recognize that and to give people that opportunity, like you guys are doing on that platform, for them to shine. Because like I heard, like she's so enthusiastic and she's so appreciative of it that she's going out of her way to ask to be given the opportunity to share that with others and to kind of lead that conversation. And I think people need to be aware of creating those scenarios for more people in their life. I mean, yeah, I think it's amazing. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
We have a mutual friend who's one of the people who brought me to SommCon back in the day.
Yeah.
He was a general manager at one of the restaurants I worked at. And one of the things that I took from him, or one of the greatest things I remember from him, is he would just believe in his people blindly. And that's either to a fault sometimes, but most of the time it worked to where he would just empower his people so aggressively into new positions. He made me a wine director before I was ready for it.
Yeah.
And I rose to the occasion.
Right.
And he was like, and it's kind of sink or swim. And he would do that with so many people. Sometimes it backfired. I was like, that person just crashed and burned as a manager. It didn't work. But most of the time in this industry, this isn't rocket science. Like, people rise to the occasion and they shine.
Well, that's exactly right. And I don't know that it's specific to this industry. I think that's human nature. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that if you're given an opportunity that maybe you're not quite ready for, if you have the grit to do it, you're going to figure it out, and you're going to excel. And that's just, you know, part of your makeup. Yeah. You know, and we were talking a little bit earlier, and going back to Indigo, when we were talking as a team, and I was, you know, our team is working late nights and we're tired, and, you know, they're pulling like 24 hours and late nights. And I'm like, having Indigo say things like, being at SommCon is one of the best things for her professional career that has happened to her. Mm-hmm. Like, that's our why. Yeah. You know, and I know everybody's saying, it's like, why do you get up in the morning? Well, that's a pretty good reason. Yep. You know, that's a pretty good reason. And Jackie Summers, I mean, I think of Jackie with Sorrel. Like, he rolled in here. He came in just for the day, just to help be here to judge and then leave. I'm like, Jackie, I can't believe you're leaving already. He's like, I came here because it's you guys, you know, and because it's because it's you and your program, and because you're people who deeply, intimately care about the people who are walking in these doors, you know? Yeah. And that, I think you feel that. Yeah. Out 100%. Here this last week. Yeah. Yeah. Congratulations on another great SommCon. Thank you. Okay. Couple of insider looks at the conference. Can you share with us a catastrophic moment that's happened to you? That's dirty. That's mean. It doesn't have to be 2025. It can be from any past ones. Like, people, you know, some behind the scenes stuff. People want to see it. Well, what do people don't know? That's just like, I can't believe that happened. Well, so there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So I'll share a couple things. So, you know, we are small business operators. And oftentimes I'm going to my team, and a lot of owners and operators are going to hear this and be able to translate. I go to my team, I'm like, we don't have the budget for that. And they'll say, like Kristen was like, well, I can't do it without the budget. And I'm like, well, we've got to figure out a different way because we don't have the budget for that. In this particular case, I'm talking about AV. And so we figured out how to bring in, the equipment, and Kristen learned how to be an AV tech. So on top of everything, our VP of events, everything that you saw, like Kristen behind the scenes was running around going, does this mic work? Does that, and this is some of the stuff that you don't see. And then on the captain, the Somm side of things, we had a blind tasting, and Alan Tardy is just, lovely and just such an incredible professional. But we got we had a blind tasting on his wines, and the seller did absolutely exactly what they were supposed to do to send the wines out. And we got confused on the other end, and it delayed us like 30 minutes in onto the session. And it was just, we had a little flub in our service, and I'm being transparent on it. 99% of the conference was like flawless, on time, beautifully done. Mm-hmm. But that was a rough start for us. In the morning, our very first session with Alan,
super
we're like,
stressful.
Hey,
yeah. Oh my God.
We're getting there. But it was, it was ultimately, you know, everything, of course, worked out. Everybody's in service and very gracious about it.
Yeah,
But we had a
yeah.
little rough start on that one.
Well, I mean, you have an amazing team. Kristen is absolutely is like I told her, you're my spirit animal. I just like you. I want to be like you. It's the way that she handles stuff. She's so composed and she's amazing. And the team that you have, Casey and Lisa May and all these other people have just been
They're great.
Leslie. I mean, they've been so helpful with everything.
Yeah.
You have a great team. So, Michelle, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Raph.
Thanks for everything that you do.
Thank you.
And I look forward to talking with you soon.
Me too.
Thanks.